Hey folks, today is Friday, April 18th, 2025. As usual, you're not going to believe this. My name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news going on. A lot of announcements and stuff, so we should just roll right into it. There is also construction going on nearby, so if there's some sounds, I apologize. But two new Bethesda things have possibly leaked. Yes, one you probably expect, one you might not. The first, of course, is the Oblivion remaster remake thing that we've talked about for so long now. We've talked about this at length. I talked about this on my channel as well, but after all the leaks and rumors, now it seems like the rumored developers, Survios, their website backend leaked it. Some screenshots have come out. Not the highest quality. We can show some of them, I think. The video won't get taken down. But yeah, here it is in all its glory. It is Elder Scrolls Oblivion, one of my favorite games. Not as good as Morrowind, but still amazing. Definitely got a lot more detail, a lot more going on. We've talked in the past about like the leaked details with them tweaking some of the RPG systems and updating some things, but visually here, it actually looks a little better than I expected. A lot of detail. The only thing that concerns me is the color palette feeling slightly off. The original Oblivion was super bright and vibrant. This looks like it's a little bit more going for, I guess, realism? I don't know. I like that high fantasy look of the original. Now, there's also been rumors, we've talked about it quite a bit in the past, but if you're getting caught up, the fact that this is probably going to be a shadow drop, like this thing is just going to be dropped one day. The newest rumors is suggesting next week, actually, which would be nice to see. I think that would hit very nicely. And according to everything that's been leaking, it seems like it's going to be not just Xbox and PC, but also PlayStation as well. So it seems like we're going to be eating good. My concern is that I hope the people working on the Skyblivion project, the PC mod project where people are rebuilding Oblivion in Skyrim's engine, I hope that still continues. I hope Bethesda doesn't take that down. I think there is room in this world for both. Two different attempts at like remaking or remastering a classic. And the lead person behind Skyblivion did make a statement saying that nothing changes for them right now. So that's good. I am really looking forward to doing a before you buy on Elder Scrolls Oblivion though in 2025. I don't think you guys are ready for that. I might be traveling though. I might not be able to do it when it drops, if it drops. So Falcon and Eric might be on it. But either way, we'll keep you informed. But the newest rumor on the block to follow that up is a Fallout 3 remaster. This has been talked about in the past, but the newest comes from Xbox Scooper, who has a decent track record, Nate the Hate, saying that the Fallout 3 remaster is real, but we might not see it anytime soon. It still seems like it's an early thing in the works. And it's an interesting project. I think it is definitely worthy of a remaster or a remake or a cleanup or something like that. Liam Neeson is your dad in that game, and I think that's really cool. People forget about that. But it's cool to see Fallout 3 potentially get some love because everybody just talks about Fallout New Vegas. But for me, Fallout 3 has a special spot in my heart. So, like I said, two Bethesda releases like at some point, but it seems like Oblivion is right around the corner, possibly Monday the 21st. As for Fallout, we'll just have to wait and see, but it does seem like a sure bet just because we're not getting Fallout 5 anytime soon, so they might as well give us something, right? Next up, some Nintendo Switch 2 updates. The first thing is the Mario Kart World Direct. Just dropped like 15-20 minutes or so of Mario Kart World gameplay and details. Like I've said in a previous video, I did get to play some of this at a Nintendo event, and I found it to be a lot of fun. $80 fun? I don't know. That depends on you. But if you want to learn pretty much everything that game has to offer, that'll be linked in the description down below. But the biggest thing is actually the Switch 2 itself. With this morning, I got an email ready to go, like from Nintendo officially, that they are doubling down and saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 price of the console is not changing at launch because of tariffs and the world economic situation right now as it stands, citing specifically that because they already have availability, they already have shipped these manufactured consoles to the United States, they're able to keep prices where they were initially announced. And that's great news, finally, some good news. But they did say that some accessories are gonna go up a little bit, like the Pro Controller, an extra pair of Joy-Cons, stuff like that. If you wanna read up on all that, of course, that'll be linked in the description down below. But the biggest thing, at least for us personally here in the US, is that they announced pre-order dates. As you probably know, they were delayed when all the tariff stuff was announced, and Nintendo did say that this all can still change at any moment just because of the way things are going. Like, Nintendo Switch 2 prices could still go up, but as of right now, we seem like we're okay, and pre-orders go live April 24th. not too far from now. So get your wallets ready, or not. Also, another reveal, I talked about it last week, but like it went live over the weekend, so this might feel like old news now, but we haven't discussed it. Marathon has officially been revealed. Bungie's next game that isn't a Destiny thing. Marathon has fully been revealed as a revival of the classic IP, like from them, but very different. And what it essentially is a 3-player, like 3 teams, PvPvE extraction shooter. They did a live stream, they put out a bunch of information, they put out a gameplay trailer, narrated, of course, by video game voice acting man Ben Starr, talking about Marathon. That was bad, I'm sorry. But lots of details, also a lot of press and content creators did get to play it. I worked on a whole separate video on this on my channel, but I did get my hands on quite a bit of Marathon, and I didn't like get a free trip or anything. I paid my way to go there and see it. I could say whatever I want, and it's fun. I had some fun, but ultimately the model around it still leads me to question a lot. And I think healthy questions and healthy skepticism, right? This game seems like it's like there's something that they announced it's releasing in September, but it still feels like it needs a lot of work, and they're treating it like it's like something that's going to evolve and they're just going to wing it, kind of like they did with when Destiny 1 first launched. But this is a very different type of game, and I don't know. That coupled with the fact that they said that they are charging for this game, it's not going to be like a free-to-play game. Like right off the bat, you're going to have to pay, we don't know how much, whether it's like $30, $20, $40, $50, but they are going to ask for money for something that is going to have 3 maps at launch with another map a little bit later, a couple of different playable characters with their own little hero traits, and a story that they're just gonna try and tell over time, and I don't know. Now, next up, spring is in full swing here in New York, and with spring usually comes change, spring cleaning, or maybe even learning something or acquiring a new skill. If you're looking to do that this year, that's where our sponsor Brilliant comes in handy. Brilliant offers thousands of lessons in math, data science, programming, and AI. This is all well and good, but me personally, I've never been a good test taker. I've never been able to focus like that, but thankfully, Brilliant encourages learning by doing. And this just makes a heck of a difference for me personally. Brilliant is all about practical learning. You're not just memorizing theories or figures. Brilliant is incredibly well at like introducing the base or first principles of a concept and just introducing fun new mechanics to really make sure you truly understand it. The learning it strengthens is specifically around problem solving, so you can actually solve problems and not just sit around and memorize things. That to me just means that you really fundamentally understand and are actually learning the thing in front of you. Why not jump into programming and get familiar with Python? Maybe learn the essentials of coding and help train your mind to think more like a programmer. It can actually be fun because Brilliant encourages daily learning and really just picking up, getting going. You can do it on your phone. It's easy. The lessons are fun and interactive, so you can do it whenever you have the time. So if you want to check it out, you can actually try Brilliant for free by clicking the link in the description down below or heading to brilliant.org/gameranx. You can also use the QR code on screen right here. You'll also get 20% off a premium subscription. So again, just click the link in the description down below or head to brilliant.org/gameranx to get learning. And big thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Now back to the news. Look, I am not an expert at extraction shooter games. I'm also not an expert at these evolving live service Bungie style games. So my bias is showing like these games aren't really for me. There is some excitement out there for this one, so I would say definitely read up and watch some other videos to really decide for yourself. But thankfully, there is going to be an alpha, so hopefully more people can try for themselves and judge for themselves. I think it has potential. Like I said, I had some fun when I was playing it. It's a Bungie shooter, so it feels good to play. But I'm just more interested in seeing how it's going to evolve and how it's going to be a year from now than at launch. Honestly, not to glaze up my friend's skill up, but his video is really good and nails a lot like how I feel. But me personally, as someone with like limited time and money, I'm kind of losing patience for jumping into games or buying into games that are still a work in progress, you know? I gotta really, really love that idea to stick with it and support it and buy into it, and I just don't know if I do with Marathon specifically yet. Next up, Star Wars Celebration is going on right in Japan, so as a Star Wars nerd for my entire life, I'm just looking at an endless stream of new action figures I wanna buy, but there is more information coming out soon. If you're watching this on Friday, over the weekend, they are dropping a reveal and a panel for the Star Wars XCOM style game. It is from former Farak Firaxis, like developers, like veterans and stuff like that, a new studio. It's going to be called Star Wars Zero Company. As of right now, we just have the art, but yeah, we'll talk about that more next week, I guess. Also, there has been a reveal for Star Wars Outlaws DLC, Pirate's Fortune, which features the guy from Galaxy's Edge. I know he's in more than that, but that's just always how I call him. Next up, some gameplay trailers and reveals. The first is for this new game called DREADMOOR, which looks like a first-person Dredge with combat. And at first glance, this is absolutely awesome. At first, when they showed the inventory stuff, I was like, is this just a ripoff of Dredge? But once you see the art style, the characters, the first-person shooting, it does feel heavily inspired, but its own thing. The interesting thing about this, though, is that it's from a developer that we can't really find a lot of information about. It seems like there's like 2 confirmed developers on it, and not really much anything else. Vice did a really good job trying to dig into who exactly is making this, and is this a proof of concept more than an actual game? I do think that that is probably more of the case here, but just be skeptical until we learn more. But as of right now, just this cool trailer, I don't know, it's a cool vibe. It's a cool game. I would be interested in playing if it releases and it actually is like this. But of course, healthy skepticism, especially games on Steam from developers with the first time with little information, it's totally valid to go in, cautious. Carefully. Also, check out this cool game with this really cool art style. This is like a co-op isometric adventure game called Hell Express. It's like a shooter. You're essentially playing as an armed guard for this delivery service, and you're like jumping between worlds. I don't know, just seems like it's potentially creative and cool. This is another one from a team of unknown developers, Full Metal Bagel. So we'll just have to wait and see, but cool ideas on display here. Also, we got a gameplay for Cronos, The New Dawn. This is the next game from Bloober Team, the people behind the Silent Hill 2 remake most recently, but also The Medium. And what I see here, it looks like the art department from The Medium is on this one, because visually this game looks astounding. Gameplay-wise and everything, it looks like a trippier, weirder Dead Space, which I think is cool. I see survival horror elements, really interesting enemies. This kind of looks like what I kind of wanted the Callisto Protocol to be. Also, the character you play as straight up looks like the Fury from Metal Gear Solid 3. I can't help myself, but yeah, I think this one definitely has potential. I'm really curious to see how this one goes down. At the very least, we just know it's coming sometime in 2025. Next up, speaking of games releasing soon, this is releasing this summer. This is FBC Firebreak. We got a new gameplay trailer for it. This is a kind of Left 4 Dead style game set in the Remedy universe, like Federal Bureau of Control. So Control fans, definitely this might be up your alley if you're into multiplayer stuff. Creatively on display, it seems like there's a lot of ideas that I think this genre often can use, but it's got a weird bit of humor to it that I think feels a little bit different from Remedy's previous stuff. We're just gonna have to wait and see, but I'm still very interested. And in other news, it does seem like Assassin's Creed Shadows is working out for Ubisoft. A lot of people, myself included, looked at Shadows as kind of like one of the last big things for Ubisoft, like they really needed this one to succeed. And according to video game analyst Matt Piscatella, he says, and I quote, "Here's a fun one. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been the best-selling video game in the US for each of its first 3 weeks in market, according to Circana's retail tracking service. Currently ranks number 2 year-to-date, trailing only Monster Hunter Wilds." So there you have it, and I am happy to be proven wrong. I was one of the few reviewers that were really critical of the game, but I think my agenda or my bias really is only just that I have been frustrated with Assassin's Creed games for a while phoning it in, and I still wasn't completely convinced with Shadows. I do think it's one of the better of the modern Assassin's Creed games, but I think the biggest thing, and I think the lesson that hopefully Ubisoft can learn here, all the nonsense out there aside, is that the game released in a good technical state. The game was not buggy. I did not have a lot of issues with it, and it didn't feel half-assed in that regard. And also the fact that they delayed it, and they delayed it, and they delayed it, and they delayed it to, I guess, presumably make it into a better game. It seems like players buying it have responded to that positively. Again, happy to be wrong. I know a lot of you guys trust me in before you buy videos, but, sometimes I can steer you wrong. I just didn't happen to like it, but I'm happy that some people are having fun with it. Is that a normal take? Is that, okay to say on the internet, or am I going to get flamed for that? Anyway, Last up, I wanted to point out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is on PS5 now. It seems like performance-wise, it does really well, and I'm just excited for people to play this because I really like this one. I didn't know how this one was going to go, but I played it, and it was one of my favorite games of 2024 because it squeaked in at the very end at December, if you don't remember. So yeah, now it's on PS5 if you want to go check that out. With Forza Horizon 5 not too far behind. Things are certainly changing. But that's all I got for you this week. I gotta get back to work. Some Before You Buy games coming next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about the Bethesda leaks, the possibility of a Fallout 3 remaster or remake, and of course the Oblivion remaster screenshots. How do you feel about that color palette? How do you feel about those details? Do you agree with me that when you walk out of that gate for the first time in the original game, it's like seeing the eyes of God? Let's talk about anything Oblivion down in the comments. Of course, also the Nintendo Switch 2 and the pre-order thing. Is it too rich for your blood? Not enough games? You're not interested? Are you not going to pre-order it when it does go live? Or are you? Let's talk. Let's talk about anything, all the news and stuff I talked about this week down in the comments. We'll be down there as much as possible, but of course, if you want to yell at me directly, you can find me on all the social medias at Jake Baldino or YouTube channel, Jake Baldino, podcast, the Friends Per Second podcast, where we did do an interview with the Marathon game director. Definitely check that out if you want. Leaving a comment, clicking a like button there helps as well. We really like that podcast, but thank you guys for being here. Like I said, back to it. Clicking the like button helps us out here on gameranx. I'm here every Friday to get you caught up, but all I ask of you now, I've asked a lot of you this time. So really, all I ask is have a great weekend, be safe, pizza's on me. See you guys.